Well, finally, here we are, guys. The launch of Chester Gas. I want to start with a big thank you to Story House for the loan of the Garrett Theatre. Sadly, the available date meant that I couldn't be with you in person tonight, so I hope you'll forgive this little piece to video, which has been put together with the kind and generous assistance of Sam Telford from Telford Productions. On the subject of thanks, thank you very much indeed for turning out on a Friday night at the end of a busy week to listen to what we have to say to you. I'm guessing that if you all thought that Chester was performing to the best of its abilities, you wouldn't be here. So, we already have something in common. As many movements do, Gas started out as a series of conversations. And as those who know, the Gas, an acronym, originally meant something a little bit more robust, but we've tempered that down a little bit to Chester Great and Small, which I think still works, and it still gets across the fact that everyone has a part to play in this conversation. I've worked in Chester since 1986 or thereabouts, and in all that time, there's never been a single place where good stuff happens in full sight with collaboration by everybody, where ideas and initiatives and collaboration can happen to turn some of these great ideas into tangible reality and delivered projects. What we're hoping is that Gas can be part of that transformation. A very valid criticism levied by the council over recent years is that they find the private sector very difficult to talk to because we don't all speak with one voice. And I think that's quite true. In fact, the Chester Residents Association group was set up a few years ago to address that issue with residents in mind, but we've never had the same sort of collaboration, certainly not in the business field in Chester. What we think we see in Chester at the moment is everybody working in their own silos, often doing some great work, but we're not joining up the dots. Everyone has their own agendas, and we have to stop working that way. Working in silos doesn't achieve results. And if you look around the city, we can see a whole bunch of stuck projects. They include, for example, a castle that's generally not publicly open, 2 shut department stores, a shut forum centre with a disused underground car park, a failed shopping centre, a largely disused town hall, D House, and possibly the worst amphitheatre experience in the world. No conference facilities of any note, and for example, there's loads of projects being done in the non-built environment. Education, culture, sustainable transport, active travel, all of these projects that all need pushing on with and joining up. So perhaps one way to unstick these difficult projects is to think about what skill sets, support and influence we can all of us bring to that conversation to support the council and other landowners in delivering these projects. Radical thinking, eh? Nah, not really. Plenty of other towns and cities have done this. It just takes that shift in thinking and approach. We have to start saying, yes, we can, rather than, it's too difficult, let's put it in the difficult drawer for another day. This whole approach only works if everyone around the table focuses on solutions rather than problems, in a properly resourced, agile, accountable, open, and transparent way. I'll say that again. In a properly resourced, agile, accountable, open, and transparent way. Tonight, we are asking you all to imagine what your Chester could look like. So Gas is about bringing Chester together in a non-political way. For a single purpose, it's our attempt to give Chester back its mojo by creating that community of invested people, businesses and organisations in the very heart of the city, building the foundations of a collaborative, self-sustaining movement and a passionate community of doers, those who will promote our city with a single unified voice and message. As one of my collaborators, Tony, put it, choose Chester. Together we will make our beautiful city centre, with its uniquely woven fabric of nature, heritage and perpetual adaptability, the best place to live, work, play and learn in the United Kingdom, to make Chester that most livable of cities. Now, this sounds almost evangelical, doesn't it? It's not really. It's about what a city looks like when it focuses on delivery. But what we need is drivers, not passengers. I have to stress that gas is not a delivery vehicle, right? At least not in its current form, and we don't have all the answers. But what we do have, hopefully, is that ability to bring people together on the start line for a race. I don't know what that race is, and I don't know what we might win when we enter it, but I do think it's massively important to get together and to get to the finish line. What gas also does, I hope, is to have that capacity to reignite that passion and enthusiasm for making Chester brilliant again, and the speakers you will hear after me tonight will exude that enthusiasm. I hope you share it. So on that note, I'm going to hand you back to some of my fellow firelighters in the room. Please engage with what they have to say. Be supportive. I know you will. We've all put many hours of our non-existent spare time into bringing this to you tonight, into making this event happen, because we all give a sh. And I have a question for each of you before I go. What can you each individually do to make Chester better? Surely all we have to do is to just turn the dial round to yes we can. Enjoy your evening.